Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was sleeping, had to wake up. Why? Every reason I can think of. God, till the day I keep the ink up. And my priorities.
What's up, early risers? All my night owls, Adam Strain here. Thanks for tapping in. Before we dive in, just a quick heads up. This is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing here is meant to be taken as fact. Just perspective, just vibes. As I always say, do your own research so you have no one to blame. Some of the content might be a little bit triggering. That's why I'm issuing this trigger warning. Probably won't be, but just in case. Either way, I'm glad you're here. The goal of this channel is simple: to build a space where our ego takes a back seat and our ideas get a chance to breathe. So if you're down with that, you're in the right place. So without further ado, welcome to Adam Strain Reacts. Let's get her done.
We have a full system engineering approach, allowing us now to use water as a main fuel source to be able to run a conventional engine and run it on water and do it and equal or supersede the performance of a car running on gasoline and diesel fuel. Many people do not realize that when you run a car or truck on either gasoline or diesel fuel, you're actually running it on hydrogen. And all we're doing is using the hydrogen from water. And under the National Bureau of Standards figures shows that when you use water, the energy release is roughly 2.5 times more powerful than that of gasoline. So water is a very powerful fuel.
Damn.
I dip.
Wow.
Det har det fandme.
Den godt, ja.
My name is now like that.
Wow, man. Isn't that so dangerous? Can you imagine? It's literal projectiles falling.
Oh my god!
Do you guys think there's anything to that? The similarity within the face? I mean, These people like the Jack Black and Ellen DeGeneres are not. They don't have the most common faces neither. It's kind of impressive.
Magnesium helps to get rid of ADHD issues, gets rid of that lack of focus and brain fog issue, or that overfocus. Regardless, it goes back to stimulating your GABA, which is your peace hormone, neurotransmitter chemical that controls everything else, as well as all the other neurotransmitters in your body and brain. Also, why we're told salt every offering, Leviticus 2:13. 9 out of 10 people are magnesium salt deficient. It's because they've replaced the real salt with the fake white iodized table salt. This is why you need to be getting an organic qualified salt that we have available for you at jacobslink.com with the mineral test / lab test. You want to be consuming a pinch or two of salt every hour or two. This is going to reverse that magnesium deficiency and help calm and ease your body. Especially before bed, it's going to also stimulate proper sleep, even down to the REM 3. So if you want to take it a step further, also add the Master's Cleanse to your diet every day. That's half of a key lime, a pinch or two of salt, a 1/16 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and however much coconut or olive oil your body can handle in a shot glass. You're going to drink this at least once a day, every morning, first thing. And that's how you heal and calm the brain. Start taking beef liver capsules after every meal. It's going to help as well. That's why we made you all the Health Bible. Protocols available at jacobslink.com with everything else that you need to heal. Or hit the link in the bio.
Three shocking secrets hidden in Genesis that terrified the church. First, there are multiple gods. Genesis 1:26 says, "Then God said, let us make humankind in our image, in our likeness." Did you catch that? Let us, plural. This isn't a singular god. The original Hebrew word here is Elohim, which is plural, meaning multiple gods. Second, these gods are male and female. Notice that it says, in our image, in our likeness, but then it continues, male and female, he created them. Think about it, creating mankind in their image, male and female. This indicates that these gods were male and female. Third, we are gods. In Genesis 3:22, God says, "The man has now become like one of us." Again, the plural us appears, reinforcing the idea of multiple gods, but notice that these gods are admitting the serpent was right, because before that in Genesis 3:5, the serpent says, "Your eyes will be opened and you will be like God." We are gods with both male and female energies, ready to rule over creation with wisdom and balance. What do you think?
Once you start drinking from copper, you'll see the difference. I will continue to keep drinking out of my copper, just like all the copper pipes that used to be around America, until about World War II, they all started disappearing. And the whole copper is toxic is an interesting thing, because our body is primarily copper and carbon. So how can copper be toxic? And then the other thing too is copper and carbon create electricity. What are we? Electrical beings. If we don't have electricity, our body doesn't function. Down in the South, they used to wrap people with copper so they could get rid of inflammation and pain and osteoporosis. So it doesn't make a lot of sense that copper is toxic to our bodies if it is part of our body. And remember, there are people paid to say something of a certain way, to get people away from something. So when you start to see all of these things, you start to see somebody might be saying something in order to stop the people from doing what they're doing. Everything is about being healthy. Remember that. And there's no profits, crazy amounts, in a lot of very healthy people. And once you start working with copper, you'll see the difference. Once you start using grounding shoes, or maybe a grounding rod into the earth with copper, you'll see the difference. Even if you start cooking from copper, there's tons of people who cook from copper still, got copper pans, copper things. And if you go to, like, let's say you go to the Balkan region, everybody uses copper. It's only in America we're not using copper. The copper has been removed. But what's funny is if you look at all the advertisements, they all used to be about copper.
What if I told you the ocean was the real outer space? A couple years ago,
I don't know if you guys remember in the last video, there was a guy that was putting his blood underneath the microscope after drinking water, after drinking coffee. I'd be very curious to see the effect, if there is a noticeable one, of drinking water, but just in a copper recipient. I wonder if that would make a difference. What do you guys think? You guys think it would make a difference, or it would look the same?
Independent researcher, Tyler Schmerkenheiser, built this one-of-a-kind submarine. Not just any submarine. No, this thing had an adaptive hyperalloy composite hull, practically indestructible. Why? Because Tyler was obsessed. He believed the ocean floor itself was a lie. So what did he do? He stuck a camera on the front and dove straight into the unexplored depths of the Mariana Trench. And buddy, what he captured down there, no one's been able to explain it. Instead of finding the seabed, he found something else. An abyssal vortex. A swirling black whirlpool no other expedition had ever seen. And when he went through it, he rose up into a place he'd never seen before. A land. With strange, human-like beings standing on the shore. Just standing there, watching, like they'd been expecting him. It was like some upside-down world hidden beneath the waves. The craziest part? Tyler believed these vortexes weren't rare. No, he said they were canals, gateways, scattered across the ocean floor, leading to realms we can't even begin to understand. And if you think that sounds impossible, just remember, we've explored less of our own ocean than we have of outer space. Maybe, just maybe, they're the same thing.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
From what I understand, we don't really have the capability of, let's just say, pressure-proofing a vehicle to go all the way at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest part of the ocean to our knowledge. But, you know, these days people have been talking a lot about UFOs, and some of them have actually been saying that they're coming out of the water. I mean, if they are coming out of the water, there must be some sort of a system like this, you know. But at the end of the day, to me, it sounds a bit far-fetched, the whole story, from the first premise up to the last one. What do you guys think? You guys think it makes sense, or you guys think you just made that up? Let me know down below, and let's talk about it. Perspective.
Okay, will somebody please explain to me what's going on here? Watch what this guy does with this thing. This thing is an optical illusion like I've never seen before. Look at this.
Here's an extraordinary item made by Professor Kokichi Sugihara, who I've met. It does something amazing, which I'm going to show you. I'll put it on the table where the camera can focus on it. And look what we've got. We've got 4 squares there, all intersecting, touching each other, and the inner parts of them create a little row of 3 small squares, a little one in the middle. Now, here's the magic. Turn this round 180 degrees, something extraordinary happens. The straight sides become curly. We've got now 4 circles there, and two circles in the middle. Let's do it one more time. It goes from curvy sides and circles into squares. Extraordinary. Definitely a middle square there, which somehow disappears completely. Do one more time, and now it's 4 circles. and 2 small ones in the middle. Isn't that absolutely amazing?
Well, I guess they squared the circle. I like seeing things like this because I find it actually opens my mind, because at the beginning I couldn't possibly see anything else than a square. And after a few seconds my brain has learned a new pattern in a way. And I feel like the more we like mind blow ourselves, I feel like the more we become capable and make new neural pathways and that are able to think more efficiently. So I really love seeing things like this where it looks one way, but it's another, and it actually makes your brain work. Love it. What do you guys think?
Motion After Effect. I want you to focus on the center of this animated image. When I prompt you to look away, you'll notice the surroundings appear to zoom and sway, almost like a breathing motion. This phenomenon occurs because your eyes adjust to the movement, causing a delay in readjusting to stillness when you shift your gaze. Now, observe your surroundings. Do you notice the effect? Stepping feet. Watch how these 2 buses appear to move slowly, step by step. But check out what happens when I remove the background stripes. Suddenly, the illusion disappears. It's all about the contrast between the buses and the striped background that creates this effect. After image illusion, I want you to stare at the black dot for the next 15 seconds, and something pretty cool will happen. So, essentially, the colors are going to invert when you take your eyes off screen and start blinking. So just keep looking, and I'll let you know when you stop. Now, you can start looking around and blinking. Do you see it? Follow for more.
Did you guys see it? I know I must look a bit retarded, but yeah, I do see the colors of that little rainbow inverted.
Did we ever talk about the Stanley Cup theory?
Stanley Cup?
You know, those cups that all the white girls carry around everywhere, right? Yeah, Stanley Cups, that's a massive trend. But you know why they got so popular?
No, why?
It's all because of this one TikTok video. This video showed a car that had caught fire, completely ablaze, right? But inside in the center console, there was a Stanley Cup. It didn't melt, wasn't damaged at all. They opened it and there were still ice cubes inside the cup, right? But the theory goes that this video, that viral TikTok where the woman explained everything, was actually a marketing stunt. Shane Dawson even tested it out. They took a Stanley Cup, put some ice in it, and threw it into a fire pit. Within like 5 minutes, maybe 10, it started melting. The top part was really melting. The metal was getting burnt up, right? And when they opened it up, it was just water inside. So the whole thing, the whole viral moment was fake. So that video that went viral, pure marketing. And today, Stanley Cups are the most popular in America just because of that video.
Stand on your head.
First of all, I'm very sorry for that Elon and Joe Rogan AI, but I found the story to be pretty interesting. It's just the power of marketing, right? The power of suggestibility. Super interesting. I mean, imagine if you could use things like that to your advantage. It's very interesting to see how they manipulate the mass, basically. If they made it to be the most high-selling cup, you know, it's a subconscious thing. I don't think people are saying to themselves, hey, this catches fire and stays. I don't think so. I think it's a subconscious. And then when they see a Stanley Cup, they're like, oh, that's a good cup. And then they buy it, you know. Super. I love to see everything that has to do with propaganda, marketing, and illusions, and playing with the mind, basically, in a legal fashion.
Once a day. If you can't do it now, have somebody hold your feet up. Invert your position of your body for at least 3.5 minutes. If you get dizzy as soon as you start it for the first 30 days or 30 seconds, and then keep on trying, and if you don't do it but 5 seconds. If you could invert your body for 3.5 minutes a day, which gets away from this tremendous gravitational pull on this planet and all of the iron and poisons that are in the earth, and give you a chance to reverse those cell structures and let the blood, just like the River Nile, run backward, you'd save yourselves a lot of problems.
They always tell me that the problem is high taxes, but they're wrong. Of course, high taxes are extremely high here in the United States. I give you that. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government. Not even those high taxes higher than a lot of places in the world, but even those taxes are really funding the government. So who's financing the government? Government is financed by treasury bonds. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them? By printing money. But what backing does the Fed have for that money being printed? The treasury bonds themselves. So basically, you finance the government by printing money out of thin air. Well, so if the government can print the limited amounts of money out of thin air, why do they collect taxes? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not. It's shocking, but it's true. The government is funded by money printing, paper backed with paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst. The situation is even worse than it seems, because if most Americans and the rest of the world were to become aware of this farce, confidence in your currency would be lost, the dollar will fall, and the Western civilization with it.
What's so creepy is that the North Pole in that old ancient map, there's more to it. So there's this satellite image from the ESA 7 satellite. This was in 1968. It was like the first visual of Earth via satellite.
What the heck?
Okay, well then this was from Google Earth.
It's the hole to the center of the Earth.
And then this was released by NASA, I believe, 80s or 90s. You're not allowed to fly over the North Pole. But Admiral Byrd did. Apparently he had his secret diary. And then when he died, his son got it. And then when his son was trying to publish the stuff in it, he died. But Admiral Byrd talks about when he went to explore the North Pole, there was an entry to inner Earth, like hollow Earth. And he describes it as being in the Earth, lush green land beyond the ice, mammoth-like creatures, a technology advanced civilization, and meeting with a being called the Master. So apparently this Master gave Admiral Byrd this message.
You see, we have never interfered before in your race's wars of barbarity, but now we must, for you have learned to tamper with a certain power that is not for man, namely the atomic energy. You see, our culture and science is many thousands of years beyond your race. You, my son, must return to the surface of the world with this message.
Cool. And then he died.
Leonardo da Vinci.
It's very, I have a hard time to wrap my mind around the story of Admiral Byrd. They say that he basically, discovered the North Pole, did everything he had to do there. Then he went to the South Pole. Then he came back, he did a radio interview. Then afterwards, they returned to the South Pole with basically launchers, with all kinds of military apparatus, with basically a whole army. And they came back sort of decimated. And afterwards, we didn't really hear much about Antarctica again. And then they signed the Antarctic Treaty. And that's pretty much where the story ends. Since then, all we hear is more or less conspiracy theory and little bits of information, but we don't really hear much. And by the way, the word I was looking for earlier was an aircraft carrier. They went down with aircraft carriers and all kinds of boats. And anyways, so what do you guys think about Admiral Byrd? Because he was a high-ranking military official in the United States Army. So do you guys think he makes sense? Do you guys think that he's lying? What do you think about his diary? Do you guys think that it is possible that he had all these experiences, or maybe he was just writing a fiction book? Or what do you guys think about Admiral Byrd? Could we put any faith into his word?
Here showed, so you got the 12 pillars here. These are the 12 stations. And this is the temple of God. Here are the seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And there's so many little telltale signs to help you. The genius Leonardo da Vinci put in this picture. Aries. Aries is always the head. You start your horoscopes there. You start everything with Aries. It's the right ascension, the lot. Everything starts here. The day, the year, spring. It's always the first, and it's the head. Here's Aries, Taurus. See Gemini? Have a look at the third guy, Aries, Taurus. Look at Gemini. What's he doing with his hands? Yeah, he's telling you, this is the sign of duality, guys. Leo. He's the only one that's leaning on the table. He's the lion of the tribe of Judah. He's the boss, Leo. All the others are staying away from the table. Then you've got here, obviously, a feminine, very, very feminine Virgo. She's also got her hands together because it's a mutable sign. The mutable signs have two-ness. Let's go to the other two-ness. Here we go, Sagittarius. See his two hands together here? And see the last sign, Pisces? He's got his two hands. He's going like this. Right? Look at this. Who's that? Libra. You see what this feminine apostle is doing? Going like that. The scales of Libra. because that's the scales of Libra, and it's ruled by Venus, and obviously all the effeminate ones. See, there's male, female, male, female, male, female. That's how it works. Really look at that. You'll see here the crab is pointing to the throat of Virgo, to the fact that the Adam's apple is not there. And by the way, it's here. This is the Passover, and they're eating bread because the bread is Virgo. She's the season of the harvest.
When I've observed my own life and the lives of others, it's very obvious that what they're putting out in their state of being is creating their physical life. And there's nothing more debilitating, more controlling and limiting than the victim mentality. We're encouraged by this manipulation throughout our lives to see ourselves as victims, to blame someone else. Oh, I'm a victim, I'm in this situation because of A, B, C, D, and on it goes. And when we're in that state, we're going to stay in that state, because when you think you're a victim, the victim vibe goes out, the victim circumstance goes in. When you say, hey, I'm not a victim, I'm in control of my life, I've created these circumstances I don't like, therefore I can create circumstances I do. At that point, the victim mentality is gone. Victim circumstances stop being attracted, and suddenly people come into your life who are just the people you need to get you out of the circumstances you don't like. And if you don't realize what's happening, and most of us don't at the time, we say, oh my God, mate, I was so lucky. This fella came into my life at just the right time. This person, I couldn't believe it. Amazing luck. No, you pulled them in because your state of being had changed and you synced with what you needed to get out of that situation. We are so in control of our destiny, it's unbelievable.
I agree with that. You know, if I had one piece of advice that I would give to someone who feels like they're in a bad situation, try to recognize when you're talking negatively about yourself, your situation, and about others. If that seems to happen quite a bit, then start thinking about either making some changes on how you're perceiving it, and if that doesn't seem to be possible, then to change the environment in itself so that we could change the effects that we feel. That's my piece of advice. I mean, it's hard to make changes in life, but no one should be complaining. You understand? No one should be complaining day in and day out. So if you have an opportunity, change the environment, change the actions. Because as someone once said before, the definition of craziness is to repeat the same action and to expect a different result. Food for thought.
These are the 7 occult laws that govern the universe. Number 1. Mentalism. The principle of mentalism states that everything that exists is a manifestation of the mind. The universe itself is a mental construction of the creator. Number 2. The correspondence. As above, so below. The universe is fractal and holographic. Patterns exist, and these patterns repeat. Number 3. Gender. Everything has its feminine and masculine components. This manifests in all planes of existence. Number 4. The vibration. There is no such thing as death understood as non-movement. Everything is energy and everything vibrates. Number 5. Polarity. Everything has its pair of opposites, however, the opposites are identical in nature but different in extent. Number 6. The rhythm. Energy follows trends, but they can be influenced by high levels of consciousness. Number 7. Cause and effect. Every effect has its cause, and every cause has its effect.
And that's a wrap for today, familia. Whether you're tuning in with the sunrise or posted up at midnight, I appreciate your time, your energy, and your curiosity. Remember, this isn't about truth or fiction. It's about perspective. If it sparked a thought, a laugh, or deeper question, then we did our job. Drop your thoughts in a comment, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you're riding the wave, because we are just getting started. So until next time, I'm Adam Strain, and this has been Adam Strain Reacts. Peace.
I don't know what y'all think, but now's the time for us to link up. Really think we on the brink of making a change from living this strange.